This is Proper Football, the podcast where we talk about everything that encompasses the beautiful game outside of the 90 minutes. I'm Paul, and I'm joined by former MLS ballers Rodney Wallace and Ethan White. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up, family?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? What's up?
Boys,
What's up, Paul?
Boys, we got stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about World Cup qualifiers. We're going to talk about jersey sales. We're going to talk about what went on in Brazil and Argentina and all the other madness. This game just keeps on giving us stuff to talk about, right?
True.
Non-stop.
A lot going on. Let's go.
A lot going on. How's everybody going? So, Rod, how was your day? How was your week so far? It's midweek for us.
Beautiful long weekend, I'd say. A lot of beach time with the family, relaxing. Had the in-laws in town, actually, so that was good.
You get along with the in-laws?
Yeah. No, that's all good. This is what we talk about here. We talk about it all. They're cool. They're cool.
Remember, this is being recorded to be
I
on
said
the
they're
World
cool,
Wide
man.
Web.
They're great.
Right.
They're very nice people. I love them. They're great. I'm
Amazing.
so blessed to have them in my life.
And is that my transition from this point to, hey, and Ethan, how was your day? Like, should we drop?
No, it's all good. Pam, Greg.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you for everything. You guys are lovely.
Nice to meet you, Pam and Greg. I love it.
They're in the show now. Ethan, how was the weekend, baby?
It was good, man. I took some time to just chill. Just me and wifey. She's been busy with work, and I was just like, we need some quality time. So disconnected and kicked it with wifey.
I like it.
It was good. By the way, guys, I enjoyed the time.
I started knitting. That's a new hobby.
Oh, word!
Knitting.
Did you really? There was an Olympian doing that too.
What's the first thing you're making?
Just starting to just do a straight line. Just starting to get the hang of it.
All right, you start basically.
You're gonna make
you got to step one, and then I'm gonna go on to getting the beanie, getting the bucket hats, and all that. But I'm ready. I'm committed to.
You're gonna do big stitch bucket hats. That's pretty big.
How big are your stitches? Yeah, how big is the stitch?
They're light stitches right now. They're light stitches. I've seen the friend of mine that's helping me out. She's using like the big old sticks and whatnot. So she's into it. She's a pro. So I'm blessed to be able to just sit down and knit with good people with a nice view. Just slow down for a second. You know what I mean? That's what we need. We need to slow down. Everything's so fast.
That's facts.
This is some fresh lemonade. Just take your time. Knit. A little good conversations.
Right.
I love it, guys. World
Paul,
Cup
what's going on with you? How was the weekend?
My weekend was great, dude. Canada, USA. That's what I want to get into, anyways. Right? We're gonna talk a little football. Well, we got to. But the point is, it's World Cup qualifiers. It's the last of that sort of tight segment that everybody's playing 2 or 3 matches, and dude, that was a fun one. That was lots of fun. We had a lot of people in the pubs. People were worked up here in Canada and the US from the guys and girls that I was speaking to. It was a fun game. There were moments, but the point being is 1-1 is a great outcome for Canada on that one.
That's 3 points for you guys.
Sorry?
That's 3 points for you guys.
I know that's the way you like to say it, and it is like no.
I agree.
I
agree.
It's beyond that. I think it's that mental game now that Canada. It's sort of Rod, like before we started shooting here. You were saying that you were like, it's been 30 years, man. Like it's like. Canada finally looks like it's finally got a little bit of juice to it. The players they're not pussyfooting around. They're knocking back when they get pushed. Like they're in each other's faces. That's nice to see. It looks like a little bit of the the hockey vibe that Canadians like to do. When we put us on the ice,
man, stop.
No problem.
Keep it up. Keep it at the proper football. Don't bring in that hockey right now.
I have to bring in the hockey because it's a thing. It's a thing.
No, man, we're talking proper football. Let them get in each other's face as proper footballers.
But it's a mindset, bro. It's a don't push me, or you're gonna get pushed back. I'm happy for one of those things. Yeah,
you guys are ballers right now, and they're confident.
They're very confident, And Alfonso, man, Fonzie's another level. He's on another level. That guy.
To me, he was leaps and bounds above everybody on the field.
Did you see that speed? Did you see those plays in the corners? Did you see how he held on? The 4 guys are like. It was like
it's everything. Everything about his game is better than everybody on the field. To me, in my opinion, athleticism, composure. He was just above everybody.
His growth has been incredible,
and he made the difference in the end. He made the difference for Canada in the end. I mean, Kyle taps the ball in, but he's the one that makes the smart run from inside to outside, skins DeAndre, and taps it across the box.
Yeah, it was beautiful. What about you guys? I mean, Rod, what's up? Mexico, the loss, right?
Mexico right now is our father. So I have no other way to put it, but Mexico is daddy. So,
are you guys worried about Panama?
Well, right now we got to play Jamaica tonight, so we're not even thinking about Panama.
Panama just tied you guys, and Panama tied you guys last week, no? 0-0 in Panama.
Ethan,
and then you guys lost to Mexico at home.
I love the smile.
And Jamaica and Panama's in second place right now.
It's okay. Well, what is the problem?
Saying, Panama is you guys level. That's who you guys will be competing with in the race, no?
Yeah. I mean, it's CONCACAF. Who else are we competing with? Belgium, dog. We're in CONCACAF. Yes, we're competing against.
You guys are dropping down tiers and
that is a known fact. But it's about survival right now, right?
So survive. That's almost.
I want to see Panama in the away games. Panama's they're average at home. Okay. Right now we're average away. That's 3 points for you. Like, I'm really happy. I'm really happy for Panama.
I'm not Panamanian.
Well, Ethan's now Panamanian. What's going on here?
Yeah, he is. He's Panamanian. His fiance is Panamanian. He wants to get the passport. Like,
is that right?
What you're doing, bro?
Really? That's facts. That's a fact. That's
100%.
Oh, dude,
that's he's looking. Totally. I get it. He wants the villa in Panama.
Until the paperwork clears,
he wants to be shirtless with a bunch of gold chains. I know what you're doing, E.
100%.
Want to be.
But yeah, Costa Rica. It was just a disappointing loss at home. It hasn't happened in a long time, honestly. I don't remember the last time that we lost a game at home, but we didn't look bad. But we made a big mistake in the first half to give them an early PK, and I think that play came 4 minutes even before that when we fouled one of their players. They got substituted out. Dude comes in and scores the PK, and those are the little things that are going to hurt us in the long run. We cannot make those mistakes. Brian Oviedo wanted to clear the ball out and accidentally kicks the dude in the shin. So we are in a big hole right now, but the beautiful thing about the game is that we can always bounce back. We got Jamaica at home right now. They're posting a lot of pictures about how nice the hotel is. It doesn't seem like they're focused, so I'll take it. Keep posting pictures and videos about the hotel parking lot and how nice it is. So
within the cycle, when is it you're done mathematically? Like, or you're progressing automatically. Like England plays Poland, even if they lose, they're just 2 points off. They're still at the top of their group. Like there's about 8-9 games left before that's it. Where everybody knows who's making a World Cup.
Well, we know Mexico's already in the World Cup.
Well, so my question is
depending on tonight. So for us, for Costa Rica, it's really we need these 3 points in order to stay in the race.
Because there's a playoff in second, right?
There's a playoff, but we don't even want to get to the playoff spot because the playoff spot you're already in the danger zone when you're there. So it's too dangerous. So
it's like a roll of the dice at that point.
Okay, yeah, sure. It's you're in. If you win, you lose, you're out, sort of thing. You don't. Yeah. You have no more. There's no more chances. But so it's tonight. Okay, so it's tonight for you for Costa Rica.
It's a big one tonight. I must say. I don't know if it's tonight the one that will define our destiny, but obviously every single game within a qualifier is a final. So we gotta do what we gotta do and get the 3 points at home. You have to make home your fortress.
Were there any qualifiers up to now? Because I mean, it's about to end and then Prem's about to start back up. Were there any qualifying games that you guys were like drawn to, couldn't get enough of, or just like, oh man, this is insane, or that piqued your fancy? Or is it really just sort of you're checking on your club, like for country, and that's just about as far as it goes, just because there's just too much to absorb?
I think there's a lot to absorb, but also I think a lot of the bigger teams were playing smaller teams, so the results were a little bit predictable. I mean, Sweden was a good one to watch, just because the players involved and like Isak and Forsberg from Leipzig, but also obviously it's players at Spain. But I think that it's when you see like the big teams play the small teams, the results are a little bit predictable. But I think CONCACAF is the one to watch, which is why I think it's one of the most entertaining because all the teams are about the same level. In terms of anybody, and I think anybody can be anybody in CONCACAF. In Europe, it's a little bit more predictable. in South America. I mean, obviously it's Brazil and Argentina, but that's one I was excited to watch. But we saw what happened there.
we didn't get much to watch.
We got 6.5, 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Yeah, we'll get into that actually in a moment. But are you guys then, with the wrapping up of this cycle for qualifiers, are you excited about the Premier League and all the other leagues sort of like rebooting, because all the players get back into their club teams? Rodney?
Well, I mean, I think yes, that's exciting that it's back, but I'm just mostly concerned about what happened with Argentina and Brazil. I don't understand how.
Okay, you want to get into it? Yeah, okay, cool.
How they waited that long. They waited until the game started. They were waiting. They were waiting for the whistle to blow, and they already had everything planned out. Because if you think about it, Jamaica had a bunch of players that play in England, and they were playing in the match. So it's a thing for me is, okay, so if you have players on the Jamaican national team that came from England and nothing happened with that match, what's the difference between doing that in South America? And I think I have my theory. So you guys speak on it first, and then I'll throw in my 2 cents.
So listen, I'm going to just throw this quickly out. So what happened was Argentina, Brazil play, 7 minutes in, authorities come. The rules were broken by entering into Brazil. There was supposed to be a quarantine time between England and the UK and Brazil. There's the time frames in passport or no passport. There's still a quarantine measure that has to be met. They weren't. The players came without club approval. So this is where this whole thing coming back. They're now actually going to be suspended, it looks like, because Brazil's asked the Prem to suspend them for 5 days, which means Liverpool won't have their players. Spurs, a bunch of guys will not be playing this round, for the next 7 days. And they waited for 7 minutes of the game to actually happen for these officials to run on and then make a whole scene and a whole shtick, like a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So, and as Ethan and we mentioned, and Ethan, you got to jump in right away with your take on this. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, soap opera. But that's why it keeps giving us what we want. The football gives us exactly what we want: entertainment.
Do we want that though? We don't want that. But go on, Ethan.
We definitely don't want that. I mean, I think to me it's a joke. 24 hours for kickoff, I saw people talking about Emi Martinez and all the Emi Buendia and all these players they have quarantine rules that they're supposed to follow. So obviously, if I'm seeing this,
they've flown into the country.
That's what I'm saying. If I see this 24 hours on the Twitter timeline, everybody knew. So you're there now. You know what hotel they're at. You know where they're going to play the game. You know exactly who you're looking for. But you wait until 7 minutes into the game. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're going in, they're trying to be seen on the camera, bro. They're trying to make a whole thing about this and go and stop the field. Everybody run on the field and the players run over to the thing. And Messi obviously says, like, what he's supposed to say. Like, you guys waited until fucking kickoff. We're playing in the game. You guys want to make it a show. Yeah. It's a joke. It's a joke. I think I don't know how FIFA goes around this now. I mean, I think obviously in the world we're in, there's COVID stuff. So you have to have like certain protocols in place, but it's a show, man. It's a show. And I think Brazil's trying to kind of get back at them for Copa America.
Yeah, that's what it is right there.
I think they're trying to get back at them for Copa America. Like, you're not going to embarrass us. Yeah, I don't give a fuck who Messi is. I don't get him. You beat us in the final. Like, nah, we're going to embarrass you a little bit.
Yeah, but they didn't beat
I think that's what it is. It doesn't matter. I think you took a trophy from them. So we're gonna embarrass you guys a little bit. We're gonna slap you guys on the wrist in any way we can. That's what they did. They tried to make it a show.
Or on an international level, when you play for a country. No, hold on, Rod. So when you play for country, you can't just get off the plane and hit the pitch and play game. You got to arrive, simulate with the team, and do some training drills, right?
Bro, the crazy thing is, I was supposed to land in Costa Rica. You're supposed to land maybe, sometimes it's 3 days, sometimes it's 4, sometimes whatever. You have a club game and you can only get there 2 days before. I had a qualifier. I was supposed to land in San Jose. I didn't land in San Jose. The plane landed in Liberia, which is I'd say a 4-hour drive to San Jose. So I land at 10 p.m. From 10 p.m., I have to now take a public bus 4 hours into the city and then get
with
there.
All your nice bags, of course, right? Yeah,
bro. I'm at this point, I don't even care. I don't even care where my bags are. I just need to get there. And I get there at 3 a.m. to the facilities. I sleep for about 2 hours, have to wake up for breakfast at 6. From breakfast, I go straight into training. And it's not like player management where, okay, well, he hasn't been in training and he just got in, so let's just ease him into the training. No, it's you're either in or out. So the game is in 2 days. So if you're not training fully within the 2 days, because the lineup is already set, there's only a couple of spots left for the coach to really make changes. So if you're not training, you're definitely out. So I had no choice but to go warm up, stretch, and get right into 11v11 2 days before the match, because that's what you do. You have to play 11v11 to see where things fit. So I had no choice but to get right into that. So
is that an automatic? Is that an automatic if you have many games? If it's a one-off, then no, you're screwed. No. Right? Like, no, you're not screwed.
Bro, if you're not in training, you're out. So, and with the national team, you have no choice but to train. In my personal experience,
which makes this even funnier, considering they've been hanging out in Brazil this whole time, like Ethan was mentioning, posting and doing all this stuff, and then they literally wait to kick off with the whole world watching, like you guys said, to make this whole stink, right? Like this whole
it's a show, man.
A show, man. Totally.
So for me, it was about Brazil during Copa America. They didn't want to play the tournament in Brazil because of the COVID health crisis. So the players saying that they're not going to play the tournament and having a meeting with the rest of the country saying, guys, let's not play this tournament because it's just they're taking a piss. They're basically making Brazil
the scapegoat of all
a puppet, right? So why are we playing this tournament and putting the whole country at risk just because they want to profit off of us? So by them doing all of that, it was the federation and the countries and the health department's time to say, you know what, let's stand together and cancel this game in the 7th minute. That, for me, that's what it is. I don't know, but it's very suspicious.
It's a joke.
I know, and that's what's funny about this whole thing. Speaking of show, FIFA's and this whole thing that's just come out about a 2-year World Cup. Have you guys heard about this? This is in the news right now, and it's making some real headway. Joke. You think there's got no legs to it? You think it doesn't happen? There's no chance in hell? Or is it the players sort of say no way? Or does UEFA say, what about my Euros? Or, I mean, every 2 years does not give you enough time with club, Champions League, all those other mini tournaments, the major, it's just, how do you do it?
It's stupid. It's not, I don't think they're trying to make more money. It's about money. They're trying to cram all the games into that they can, all the tournaments they can into one as often as they can to make more money. But I don't see how, if I'm a player, yes, it's exciting to play a World Cup every 2 years, but it takes off the shine of it.
Okay, that's what I'm right.
The process.
If I can play in 5 World Cups in my career, that's not as good as me playing in probably 2. I mean, like it takes how special the 2 I played in are not as special if I can play in 10 in 10 years. I mean, 5 in 10 years, rather than 2 in 10 years.
I agree with that.
But
do
also,
you, both you agree? Okay. Huh.
But also, it doesn't make sense for like African Cup of Nations, the Gold Cup, Euros, like any of those competitions are out the window. Yeah. And even the youth competitions. What happens to the Olympics? What happens to all the you know what I mean, the under 20, other 21 Euros? Like, what happens to those competitions now?
Well, I assume they rejig everything. I mean, this isn't set in stone, but yeah, go ahead.
To be like every other year, then the players get no offseason. The players get no break.
Basically,
any year that's not a World Cup year at that point would be the season would never end. You go from club to nation to club to nation to club to nation to club to nation, and you never get a break.
Major tournaments that have club implications, like let's say a Champions League or
exactly.
The UEFA. Like there's UEFA Champions. Like there's 3 or 4 different club trophy levels international, right?
Mm-hmm. It's nonsense. It wouldn't make any sense from a player standpoint. You have to pay me a lot more money for me to be involved in that every 2 years
because of the work it does on your body.
Who's paying you?
For sure. Huh?
Who? A lot more money from who?
Whoever's paying for the World Cup to be every 2 years. If it comes from brand dollars, it comes from FIFA, it comes from whatever it is. Okay. I need to pad my pockets for the risk I'm taking on my body.
Right.
For me to be doing this all year round.
And that's what it's become, and that's what it's come down to. So like this year could be a perfect example of what it just looked like, right? You ran in, you got the players had 2 weeks before it went into the World Cup, and then there was the Olympics as well. I mean, that was pretty amazing.
I mean, and I think this past year and a half is an example of how it affects the product. Like I don't think the quality of the game is as good because more players are missing games because they need more breaks. So, like for example, coming off the Euros, we didn't have a lot of the stars playing in the opening matches because they're still getting ready for the season because they just came off a long tournament. So imagine if that's like every 6 months we're having a long tournament. The club football is going to suffer because the bigger players need more breaks, need longer breaks.
Well, so now that brings me actually to a great question, and Rodney, maybe you can start off on this whole issue, and I even think we touched on this, club v. country. And the importance, if you remember, we talked about the importance of playing for your country, but the club is what's paying you guys as a player all year round, let's say. I know there's money that comes from country depending on tournament, but in general, your salary, right, is coming from club. The club didn't give, I'm jumping back to this whole thing that just happened now with the players that played for Argentina and Brazil. They didn't give them the okay to go, right? So now it comes back. It could potentially hurt the club. It could potentially, they could lose. Imagine this was a major game that they had to win to go to Champions League or what have you. That's millions and millions of dollars lost with their number ones gone and all this other stuff. Where does the importance lie? And is it up to the individual player to make that decision? So Rodney, is it up to the player to make the understanding like, okay, if I go play for country, which is obviously the highest honor that can be, I am now going to affect my potential income that I make all year round, let's say, doing everything I do for club, which, jersey stuff, signing. I mean, I don't know the periphery, but, everything that goes along with working and playing for a club.
Players that are in the international window, and sometimes they'll get for friendlies, for example, there are cases where the club declines the player's invite. So the player really wants to go. For example, I'll give another personal example. With when Ethan and I played in New York City, I also played with Ronald Matarrita, which was one of my teammates for Costa Rica and whatnot. So there was an instance where we got invited to a friendly, and the club didn't allow us to go. And
for fear of injury or just no time?
I have no idea. They try to settle deals. Well, they'll say, okay, we'll send them over for this match, but the next date we won't be able to send them just because the MLS doesn't stop. Other leagues stop during international windows, but the MLS keeps going. So clubs are losing players, and especially during the summertime or during the playoff time when you need to get points and you're losing your best players, the international players. It's not a good situation for the club. So there's times when the club will say, no, you can't take these players for this match. And then the player gets pissed off. And so now it affects the mental of the player that wants to go on international duty, but the club is not letting them. So now it creates friction between the federation and the club. So now what does the player do? It changes their whole demeanor when they come to training, when it comes to game time. So it is not helpful to hold the player back. It is not helpful to fight that. But at the same time, there has to be a good connection between the federation and the club, and they'll never be at peace together, because like you see in this case, the players that are in England, some of them left without, even though they weren't allowed to leave, quote unquote, they still left to go and play for their country because they understand what it means to put on an Argentinian jersey and to go and represent your country on the qualifier, given the fact that these are the most important games to go to the World Cup. Those players are going to do whatever it is that they can do to get out of their club and go and play. So it just creates a lot of drama, and especially with this whole thing with COVID, and now creates drama when they come back to the club because now they can't play in these meaningful games. And so everything kind of just takes a step backwards. And now the club is angry with the players, and now it just adds friction to the whole situation. But it is what it is. It's just a bit of drama right now, especially given the fact that it's COVID and whatnot. So for me, it's disappointing to see that players are breaking rules and federations are waiting for the game to kick off to make a decision on how to handle the situation. It's poor from everybody involved. Poor.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan, you want to jump in on that? Is there anything on a player mindset that relationship gets tarnished if a club, sort of like your employer, says, no, you can't do this for country? Is it hard to come back, as Rodney's saying? Is it hard to reconnect with your club because you're the group that you're with all year round, again, that pays the salaries, that keeps keeps everybody moving forward, because it's a bond, right? Like it's a relationship. No matter what you do is a relationship, and then it's now like, sorry, I'm not telling you can't. It becomes more personal. I think that's what, Rodney, you're saying too, right? It becomes more of a, how can you tell me not to do that? So Ethan, your thoughts on that as a player mindset?
I mean, I think it's circumstantial. I think it comes down to a lot of things, like timing. I mean, if you're qualifying for a World Cup, a player is going to be furious if he can't go, because it's obviously he's been dreaming about going to the World Cup the entire time. He wants to be involved throughout the entire process or whatever. But I think if you're dealing with like Rutherford and Rodney situation, it's a friendly. And is it worth the without the club, you're not going to be on the national team. So if you're not playing club football day in, day out, the national team's not scouting you. So that technically, I'm a player who believes the club comes first, because without you playing week in, week out training or whatever it may be, the club is providing you with a ability to be seen on the national team stage. So then, yes, the national team calls you. But for example, if the club has a certain amount of games coming up, or they're making a playoff run, or they're going into, let's say, a final of a tournament or Champions League final, and it conflicts with, or like you have a nagging injury that you're trying to get over, that you need to you're going to take that 2 weeks to settle down and then come back at a later point. But for World Cup qualifying times, I think like I said, it's a big, meaningful moment for the player to be involved throughout the entire process. Because like Rodney said, you're not there that many days of the year. You don't get that many training sessions, and the lineup is already drawn out. So every moment that you're there matters. So I think with a friendly, I can kind of understand, depending on the player's situation. If you're 19 years old trying to break into the squad, you want every opportunity you have. But if you're 30 years old, you're established, the national team coach knows what he's getting from you. You have a certain amount of caps, and you turn it down and say, okay, next time we're going to be called in for the next meaningful match. Then it's understandable.
So then,
for me, club, it's a balance, because club, without the club, you're not getting called to the national team.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
totally. So now you're also mentioning that the weight of the actual international game. That's an absolutely brilliant point. A friendly
matters a lot.
Not only that, dude, you get injured in a friendly, and
the club's going to be furious.
Well, not only furious, there's actually money issues. There's sometimes legal issues that follow suit. That's why there's all those insurances on both sides. But you could lose your club career because of what happened on a friendly.
I'll give a perfect personal example. After my rookie year, I got called into the U20, the Olympic national team, and I went, and DC United was kind of hesitant about letting me go, because I was a young kid. I played, coming out of college, you play, college season ends in December, and then you go straight into preseason camp. You play from MLS, you play from, I guess, January preseason to the next December. So I'm playing for a year and a half. I go straight into national team camp. DC United is kind of like, you should kind of take a little 2-week, 3-week break. I go, I'm like, no, I'm trying to go to the Olympics. I want to go to the Olympics and play. I go, and the third friendly we play against VfL Bochum, I tear a ligament in my knee. DC's pissed, and they're like, they tell U.S. Soccer, you have to pay for his surgery. You have to pay for anything that's on him, because you're the one that called him up. It's on you, and that put a whole damper on my situation, because obviously I'm out the whole next year, but also I need to figure out who's paying my hospital bills.
No joke.
Who is responsible for my workers' comp with my knee?
That's not on you. That's on your association.
Yeah, but still, to this day, it's still a thing, because I got hurt in national team duty, but I'm contracted to my club, is contracted to DC United. They didn't want me to go. It was a big thing.
Yeah, no joke. I think,
and that was as a youth national team player. So I mean, obviously, as you get older and as players are more important to their federation and club, it becomes a much larger situation.
Talking about clubs and talking about 5-time Ballon d'Or winner, Mr. CR7, guys, we got to talk about club. We got to talk about $60 million made in 12 hours when the number 7 was revealed with Man United in that jersey. They put it at 12 hours, 60 mil. But it's crazy. It's crazy. It doesn't matter how much Man United's getting out of it. Yeah, it's total madness. We got to talk about jerseys and the fashion of it all. And I mean, again, CR7, hopefully we see him this weekend. So by the time this comes out, hopefully everybody by next week will get to see him against Newcastle. But the point being is, does that blow your mind? Does that sort of ring true to why these clubs make these gigantic moves for these players to sort of bring that grandeur to their club and the dollars in for the people that are involved?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these guys pay, these transfers pay for themselves. Like, yeah, you need to figure out how to make it work, but like, you know how many more people are going to buy tickets to go see Ronaldo play? If you're in Manchester for a night and you're like, yo, oh shit, CR7 is going to play. I'm going to go see the game just because I'm in town.
Yeah, and you're gonna buy a jersey,
and that's just tickets. You're gonna buy a jersey, you're gonna buy tickets. Right. You're gonna watch the games. It's bringing you different streaming rights or whatever. Yeah, it's bringing a lot of stuff.
Fish and chips, man.
I want to know what Edson Cavani got paid. I want to know
for switching the numbers.
I want to know what CR7 paid Edson Cavani or Manchester United paid Edson Cavani to give up his number, because
Manchester did it.
You know they don't give up his number. He's not giving up his number for $0.
No, but Cavani took the 20. Took the 21.
But they paid him to do that for sure.
Oh, okay, because the 7. Yeah, because you had to give it. Yeah, right. There was something.
You're not just coming in here and taking my number.
Ronaldo probably sent him a text.
Pay me, bro.
Yeah, he sent him a text, dude. I'll give you half my airport in Lisbon, in Portugal.
Hotel.
Yeah, you got a hotel with your name on it.
That's fine.
Dude, okay. And that's 12 hours. Remember, the sales are still going, and the sales will go all year. And every time he scores a goal, that's going to be more jersey sales, right? Like, it's going to be this whole thing. But speaking of that, because, again, this show we love talking about also about the fashion of it. And you guys, everybody's totally involved with that stuff and loves everything about it. I think somebody we'll get into the Nike Barca thing, Rodney. You brought that also, but also the PSG Dior deal. Super fresh, man. Like, they just keep killing it over there. For a young club like PSG with the dollars they have behind it, and after what just happened with the Jordan brand, this and we talked about that last week, if you guys remember, we talked about, should you be showing up in a suit? Should you be showing up in the tracks, in the gear?
And then this comes out. Listen to the podcast.
Dude, right?
Proper
you're
football,
coming in Dior. Yeah, but you're wearing a Dior suit, or you're using those bags. Like, you're dressing in that gear 100%.
Yeah,
no?
100%.
Ethan, Rod?
I mean, it's fly. It's a lot though for PSG. I mean, can we switch the club that does it? I understand that PSG is in Paris and fashion and
a thing.
And it's a big thing. But give me a different club so I can at least be surprised about the announcement. Give me a just not even Arsenal. Give me a whole different club.
No, but this is perfect. So give me a brand and a club you'd love to see collab.
I would like to see them in La Liga Deportiva Alajuelense de Costa Rica. So why not?
Yeah,
I'm just playing with you, but
why? It's totally cool. I love it.
No, it's just the different levels. Dior, and it's different. Not yet. You know what I mean? But realistically, I don't have a club in mind that's a perfect fit for.
Yeah.
But I would like to just see Dior go into a different direction than PSG. I understand it's trendy and it works, but they already have Nike. Yeah. And of course, Dior approached PSG. So PSG is going to say, of course, give me the money. You know what I mean? But it's Paul, come on, man. Now that's a lot. Now you have Jordan, now you have Dior, and it's a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. I love to see Keylor Navas in Dior. That looks good. It's Sergio Ramos tying up Keylor Navas. It's beautiful, but at the same time, it's almost too much. Why not switch it?
So here's a perfect example. First of all, we need fashion man Ethan to jump back in on this call, and he will be in a sec. But just to keep the flow going, what about Fear of God? I'm using this as an example. So Fear of God.
Right.
I think Lorenzo, I think what he's doing is absolutely, that brand is so fucking nice. And what they did with the NBA collection, and I know, could easily be translated into football. Easily.
Jerry Solano, yes, he can.
He's on
he can
point.
do no
You saw
wrong.
what he's done. I know he's a baseball fan. I know, like, he's not a football guy, but
Fear God is a brand, correct?
Yeah, an essential. No, but his fashion mindset and what he does with the with the pants and the tops and the short, everything he's doing. You and I both know, and I know Ethan will. We're going to get from to jump back in, but that could easily translate to football with the footballers all wearing essentials anyways, right? Like they're already
that would be a beautiful thing, and it's probably
right?
And it's probably coming because
he's Adidas now.
Because Jerry's with Adidas now, so we'll probably see something along the way where
that will be so
whether it's essential or whatever it is that he can do with the club, it'll be epic. But also another thing, I saw PSG's basketball shorts.
Yeah,
they have the Jordan.
It's nice with the brand, right?
I don't like it at all. And Ethan will come in and he'll agree with.
Where's Ethan, man? Ethan, he just doesn't like talking fashion. He's like, fuck it, I'm not talking fashion.
We're talking about
did you hear about? Yeah, well, we talked about. Hold on, you got to give me the fear of God thing. That's a beautiful connect too. Right?
What's up?
Fear of God as a potential and essentials and everything Lorenzo's doing over. I know he's with Adidas, but everything he did with the NBA, couldn't that easily translate to a club in world football?
Needs to be like, I'm not sure what you guys think of that. My internet cut out.
So basically, we're talking about Jerry Solano and how he's most likely on its way to doing something with a football club, collaborating with a football club. And is it too much, or is it something that he would perfectly execute within the football market? Which, in my opinion, it'll be fly because his vision is clean. It's not overdone. It's not like PSG wearing basketball shorts. That was, by the way, that's a lot. They're doing a lot now, and you said it before, but now you're wearing a basketball short on the pitch.
You're crazy.
You're gone too far.
You've gone too far. Yeah, it's honestly crazy. They're doing too much. I think Jerry Lorenzo is a perfect example because he, like you said, is very, very simple in his design, but he also pulls references from, like when he did the baseball thing, he pulled references from the Negro League. So like he pulls references from things that are within the culture that he's like
highlighting, showcasing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think PSG's gone too far. Where like there's Jordan, but now you're doing basketball and like I just saw Dortmund did baseball and hockey jerseys. I'm like, come on, man. Like, yo, why is our sport trying to like be involved in like, why are we trying to rope in other audiences? Yeah, why are we trying to like bring in like, okay, I want the baseball lovers, I want the hockey lovers.
Because that's business. You need to constantly be grabbing new people.
But you can do that in different ways. There's way different ways to do that.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that the mindset is to constantly bring in new season ticket holders, jersey buyers, people.
But you don't think you don't.
But let's keep football.
But to me, that's an issue because football is the biggest sport in the world. Why are we changing competing? Baseball will never change.
NFL.
Baseball. And why? No, they're never going to change. They're set in stone. People come to me for baseball. I'm not. You'll never see a baseball player. You know what I mean? I just don't see it. I don't see it. Why would the New York Yankees make a soccer jersey? They'll never do that.
Because they want to connect with an audience that won't connect.
They don't need to connect with any other audiences.
They don't need to do that because they don't need to. But football is the biggest. It's the number one sport in the world. Why are we doing that? Why are we changing? We're changing the entire landscape of our game. We tried to make a European Super League because FIFA was cool. Yeah. They said that kids want to see the clubs against each other all the time. Why are we constantly changing for the general public?
Joke thing.
It's a joke. So
by the way, Ajax's jerseys.
Beautiful.
Their third kit with the collaboration with Bob Marley.
Love it. I'm sorry, man. I love that.
It's cool. Fantastic. What do you really think about it?
I don't love it, but I like it because it has a historical meaning to the club. The song means something to the club. So I get it. I get it.
Those ultras and those fans and those supporters, Three Little Birds, that has been part of their entire story.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. Do we need the colors? Do we have the Three Little Birds and not the colors?
It's all a symbolism, right? Like the Bob Marley itself, it's a brand, right? And those are the colors that they rep in the brand. The Bob Marley, the headphones that you had growing up, So Bob Marley, it's a brand in itself, bro. So what else are you gonna do? How are you gonna do it? The Three Little Birds. You need to add the colors. At first, I didn't even understand why they would even team up with Bob Marley until I realized that they sing that whole
has a
the
real
whole song.
Meaning.
So it has a real meaning. At first, I was like, wow, they're reaching, but no, it has a real meaning. It's interesting. The whole thing, it didn't add up at first, but if you
remember
really
Holland, though, remember the Dutch, though. The Dutch have such a heavy connection also to a lot of the extracurricular stuff that Marley and that whole genre of and culture and music and the whole 9 yards. I mean, you guys have been there, dude. Going and hanging out in Holland, and it's a trip. I mean, my brother went to school in Groningen, and we would hang out. Like it's a thing. Like it's a whole other world. I think we got to bring up anything stand out because we're coming to the end of the show. The goals during this last week and a half. Is there anything that sort of stood out to you? You're like, oh man, that was off the chain. Or do you guys want to bring up something that you're looking forward to coming up this weekend? Because again, we're always midweek when we're doing the show, so it's perfect timing to sort of do a review or recaps kind of thing, or a sort of a vision forward.
I mean, I guess I want to talk about this Weston McKennie thing.
Okay,
that's what I want to talk about. I think that people are going crazy on him, right? Like, I think a lot of people don't know the like most cases, people don't know the whole story, right?
Okay.
And like they're destroying him for saying that he brought girls in and whatever he did, right?
But what did he do? What did he do? We want to know.
Do you have this? Do you have the full story?
Do you have the full story? Because I mean, people, like you said, are making assumptions on like he's a bad person now.
Yeah, they're right. They're drawing him out like, okay, he's the leader of the national team, right? They're saying that he needs to be the leader of the U.S. national team, and this and that. He needs to be the captain. He's the one of the pieces that you can't take out, and the team falls apart. So they're kind of blaming several different things on him because of the thing happened in Juve. He had this party, the gathering at his house, and it was against COVID protocols. And then now because he's violated COVID rules this time, right? What really happened was within the bubble, you're allowed to bring a certain amount of people to invite a certain amont of people to the games when you're playing
your bubble.
Within your bubble, right? And it's someone that he's long-term involved with in the States. So they traveled with his family within his bubble on the list, and he fell asleep in their room. Now, if I have a girl, for example, and I'm playing overseas, and I come home and she's with my family, and I go to see her, and she's within my bubble. Yes, he shouldn't fall asleep in the room, I'm a believer in that he should be punished for it from the team. He should have some kind of punishment and have a conversation with the coaches and apologize to teammates and all that. There should be punishment for what he's done. But I don't think that he should be written out by the public.
It's crazy.
Bashed and say he should never get called up. Who the fuck is this guy? He's inexperienced. He's this, he's that. Come on, man.
But you know how people are. They like this. They love these stories. People love this destruction, and then
of course. But I think that at the end of the day, you got to realize he's a 23-year-old man. He went to see someone that it's not like he left the hotel and had a fucking banger at Club Live on Friday night. You know what I mean? He was in the hotel.
Yeah. Cool. Whatever, that's cool. That's cool. Rodney, anything you want to bring up about something you saw last week, and or something you're looking forward to this week coming? Or something?
No, I saw that the NWSL final is being played at 9 a.m.
in nonsense.
Portland, on turf.
What?
And,
what a joke.
9 a.m. a championship match, 9 a.m. in Portland. Not to say that Portland doesn't have proper turf. For me, it feels nice. Beside the fact that it's turf, and I know that in the women's sports they're fighting for these things, and they're fighting for to not have to play. Well, not even showtime, just respect and
that's
human,
it. That's
human
rights. What I mean
like,
by showtime. That's what I mean.
Why do they have to play a match at 9 a.m. and then you have to do it on turf? And no disrespect to Portland at all, because to me they have the best turf in the league, if not the world, whatever. But why is it a game at 9 a.m., a championship match in a league that's growing? Why are you playing at 9 a.m.? Who's going to watch that at 9 a.m. on the West Coast? You know what I mean? Like,
it's not respectful to them.
It's not respectful.
Or them as professionals. And that's the problem. And that's part of the issue that the women's game is facing constantly, is this breakthrough through media. And you and I, we all know that the dollars revolving around that, and the actual broadcasters deciding that that's the slot they're going to let go for those dollars is nonsense. It's nonsense. And that's why they're getting screwed like that.
It's wrong. It's just wrong. So where's the growth? How are we growing as a football community and as a sports community and equality at the same time? How is it that we're going to grow if you are constantly bringing things backwards, taking things back? It's a big league and it's growing. And yes, it's important because they have the biggest fan base, but 9 a.m. on a championship match.
9 a.m. is crazy. Asking professional footballers to go to warm up and show up at the stadium at 7 a.m. is crazy.
So you have to wake up at 5.
And then not to mention, then you're playing on turf, and you as pros.
You have to eat breakfast at 5:30 in the morning.
You can't eat, bro.
Yeah, you can't eat. You have to have a big dinner.
You can't
even eat.
You need your body. You need time for the metabolism before you.
Yeah, so you either got to eat 2 bowls of pasta at 9 p.m. the night before.
Delicious.
Or wake up at 5.
Delicious.
Hey, what about Gotham FC and their fashion? Have you guys logged into their Instagram and what they're doing
I like what they're trying to do.
No, what go on?
I like what they're trying to do with the concepts. Like, okay, players are showing up on the field. You get their fits. I think the fits could do some work. I think wait.
Those fits for me are better than the fits that
They are better.
The fits that are being displayed on the MLS.
They are better
on any MLS team right now.
They're way better.
The whole squad is better than what they highlight, and that whole squad is better than any. For me, it's better than any squad that shows up into any MLS game.
It's facts.
Yes or no?
I agree with you. 100% I agree with you. I still think the fits need work though.
I understand that, and that's okay though. They're it's a work in progress, but it's already that much better.
Yeah, facts.
It's already that much. They're that far ahead of the men's game in terms of fashion.
Why?
Because Because of what?
Why do you think it's the way ahead of the men's game?
I mean, no, it's just better. They actually understand what they're doing, and
they look like they've thought through their outfit.
And it seems easier for them.
Is that coming down from the club, or the players have made this call? No, I'm not talking about the kit looks. I'm just saying the players have taken.
I think the players understand what they can wear, what they want to do. But in the men's side, it's a whole different thing because it's a lot of like we said, it's a competition of who's going to wear Louis, mix it with Kappa. Flip-flops. They don't understand it. They don't understand it.
Is that because they're more individual and the women's and this team sort of for Gotham is more of a team, so they're actually communicating? Is it more of that? Is it more individualistic versus sort of team?
I think Gotham probably just told their players, like, look, before every game, we're going to have this fashion thing where we actually show up, come appropriate, and, dress your style, but dress your style. I think I hate to keep going back to Dallas, but Dallas, they did show up.
Yo, let it go, bro.
I'm not letting it go. I'm not letting him go. This guy's a mess.
That's okay. You're allowed to.
I don't care. I don't care if I see him in the street one day in New York. I would tell him that his outfits are a disaster. I don't remember the guy's name.
You're gonna have to bring. You're gonna
look it up. He's gonna come on the show. We're gonna have to.
I would like to interview him and ask him about each piece of clothing he has on.
Boys, so for next show, we're going to need to know the name, and we're going to need to figure out how to get this guy as our guest. He'll be our first proper football guest.
Nah, he's not getting that, bro.
We're going to grill him on his fashion.
No, don't do that. Don't do that to the show.
You can't be the first.
Don't do that to the show. Respect.
Vicious. Gentlemen, this has been amazing. Just a reminder for everybody, as we say goodbye, to leave us a review, a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to the show, wherever you're, getting the music from, wherever you're getting this audio from, wherever you get this visual from. Rate us, let us know. Remember to subscribe to the podcast, check us out, reach us out, obviously with our socials and Proper Football. And don't forget, on Instagram and Twitter, it's Proper Football, as you see here. And then on TikTok, it's Football, Futbol. Again, guys, this has been amazing. I can't wait till next week. I'm sure we're going to have plenty to talk about. We'll just keep going and going. Gents, have a great week. Peace.